What went in the decision to have Jake kick short of the goal line?
Wasn't a decision. Mother Nature made that decision for all of us.
So, how'd you feel you guys kind of responded to that?
Yeah, we knew, obviously we alluded to kind of last week, we hadn't covered a couple kicks. The first one they got us when we need to do better of just being in our coverage lanes, keep it, how we teach it. We want to keep that bottled up where you can't have a straight line shot. After that first one, as the short kicks, obviously it was tough kicking into that area of the stadium, but I thought some of the guys did a really good job of covering. A 21-yard return, 25-yard return. If you've seen those at the goal line or something, you're pretty happy about it. But it's just how it came down where it was a little bit short. But it doesn't matter who it is. They had to cover as well going to that direction. You saw all 6 kickoff returns that happened in the game were going into that direction. It was just how the wind was blowing. But got to keep growing and continue to get better at that. Obviously, being in the Northeast, you're gonna have to cover some kicks later in the season. But I thought some guys did some really good jobs. Christian Ellis. Nolan Smith coming out the half did a really good job making a good tackle on a really good returner in Braxton Berrio. So, I just heard Sean say, it's all a process, and we got to keep getting better in our kickoff coverage, knowing, if our offense score a lot of points and the weather's going to change, we got to make sure that we give our defense a long field to cover.
So the short kicks, you guys, you think that was the weather and not something they weren't doing?
No, it was definitely the weather coming, a northwest wind coming out of there, coming out the tunnel. It was going to be tough. You could see a little bit in pregame. A few hours before, it was actually really gusting right there. And you saw it going the opposite direction towards our tunnel. If you had the wind with you, were going to get touchbacks for the most part. So, regardless, Mother Nature's undefeated, but we got to make sure we go down there and cover on kickoff.
Boston had an opportunity, hit it pretty good. What's he so good at since you made that move last year to make him the kick returner? What do you think makes him so successful at that?
Very dynamic in terms of one cut, get down the field. He has really good vision. Obviously, being a running back, he does a great job of seeing the cut. And a lot of the times, as good as Boston is, and the patience he had, to go 6 weeks without getting an opportunity to return one, then finally get one and get all the way out to the 39-yard line speaks volumes to him. With just the patience, the communication. And hey, we may not get it this week. Let's just be honest right here. But going into this game, we thought we had an opportunity, especially with the weather, knowing what the wind was doing. He does a great job, but a lot of the times, very similar to punt return, it has to happen with those 10 guys ahead of them, and it's almost a blessing in disguise. You had 6 weeks of doing a lot of individual getting ready for that opportunity, and it's all the guys buying in like, hey, if we have an opportunity, we got a really good returner in Boston Scott back there that could really flip the field, and a lot of good blocks happened. OZ did a heck of a job kicking out their one to really spring Boston on that inside. The double team of Mackay and Keeley, 2 young guys going against Justin Bethel, who's been doing it for a long time, very productive. So it's just more of our technique on the front line and back end, and just the true belief that if Boston has the opportunity to return one, we could help flip the field and help our offense with a starting field position.